What's going on, guys? You're watching Everyday Struggle. Nadeska here with Akademiks and Wayno. We got Jadakiss with us this morning, just telling us that it's a little bit of a rough morning. Sorry to have you here so early.
Thanks for having me. No.
Is this your earliest interview ever?
In recent years, definitely. I did, back in the day, used to have some early morning show that you do in Chicago or Detroit. Like you had to, like around this same time frame, you had to perform for a bunch of kids. It was dope though.
Mm. And they behind us an hour. So
yeah,
it's extra early.
So it was extra early,
right?
Yeah.
You say you walked where with
the
luggage?
I walked here from the Intercontinental Hotel with my luggage. That's just showing the, I don't know if it's the evolution of the music industry or the other way, the other word for reversing the evolution.
Is that normal? Is that something you usually have to do in the past few?
I mean, I'm like one of them artists. I'm so easy to work with, but then again, sometimes I'm like might be a pain in the ass. But I'm more easier to work with than, you know, all the diva stuff that comes with the other artists. Some artists only want green M&Ms and white couches, and certain type of candles and all.
Have you never put anything crazy on your tour rider? What's the craziest thing you ever asked for?
Nah, we might have the most hoodest, healthiest. We got peanut butter and jelly and organic.
And crust on
organic
pizza.
jelly and all that. Our riders is like regular. I seen some riders that's nuts. Like,
yeah, that's insane, right?
So over the years, don't you like, you know, because we see with like artists as, you know, they become veterans in the industry.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I would think it would be like, you know, at this point in my career, I'm walking here with my luggage here. That's not what I pictured.
Do you think you're too easy to work with then? If you made more demands, would they meet the demands?
Sometimes when you like easy to work with, you find you do some shit that, you know, like walking here with your luggage. Like
that's something I would do.
No other artists, they wouldn't make no other artists do that.
Oh, we got to get that right then.
Yeah, I mean, they put me close so I wouldn't be late, but then, I don't know.
Man.
I try to work it out though, you know what I mean? You can't, what could you do? Complain and then fall on deaf ears, so you gotta work, just work and work through it.
Well, it's promotion week for you, right? So
I mean, this is sort of like hell week anyway, so, you know, it still wouldn't be
fun regardless.
Some other artists would have had a blow-up mattress in the green room. They would have made them do some. They would have put a silly orthopedic or something.
He's looking at
a massage therapist or something.
You know what I mean? All that goes on. You think, you know, but I ain't.
Well, Jada's about to drop his new album. It's called Ignatius. That's coming Friday. I know you delayed it a little bit out of respect for Pop Smoke. So I hope you're at least feeling good about the album coming, right? It's been a few years since we got your last solo project.
I'm feeling great. Feeling great.
Is this process of dropping an album where, again, you got to do press, you got to kind of like, you got to crank them old wheels up again in terms of, you know, getting everybody excited. You know, the label wants you to do all type of things, including press runs. Do you look at that and be like, man, I'm over that shit, man. Like, the people who fuck with me now, they gonna still fuck with what I want to put out. I'm not going out here trying to get new fans.
Definitely. I mean, I ride the line, try to do both. You know what I mean? I'm from the era of hands-on and actually going in there and talking to the program directors, the mixers, taking the dinner or something like that. So I still do that as well as the digital or, you know, whatever it's turned to today. I do that mixed with a little bit of what I'm already used to.
Me being because I'm able to take myself out of like knowing you and also like being in this, like as a Jadakiss fan, I don't care about like all of that. I just want to hit the album. Yeah, like that's, and I know it's a lot of like same guys as me, like that's all they care about. Like nothing is gonna make them want to go get it other than you just putting it out.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a blessing, you know, being able to build a core fan base and have a following and people that anticipate when you release a project. You know what I mean? At this point in my career, it's definitely a blessing because this is like the NFL, not for long.
Not for long.
What's the difference between this one and Top 5 That Are Alive, A Kiss of Death, you know,
this
Last
one
Kiss?
is, I mean, well, you knew Pick, you know what I mean? You being from Harlem, you knew my man Jay.
Yeah.
So you know, this is just like a sense of closure for me. It was something I felt like I owed to him for what he did for my career, for what he did, you know, what he brought to the table for the Rough Riders. And then with him, you know, after Rough Riders going down and him working with me, it became bigger than music for me. When he became like my homie, like my brother. You know, spoke to him every morning. He made me start working out. He made me change my diet. He made me start learning about art. Just a lot of things that, you know, a person that's not related to you wouldn't care about, you know, wouldn't give a damn about. He really cared about my career. He cared about me. So I felt like I owed him something, and the way for me to get through it or get over it or get a sense of closure was to, you know, dedicate a body of work, a project to him, name it after him.
Right.
Make it in his light. The features are like people he always wanted me to work with, and, you know, now after this I could get back to the regular scheduled program of, you know, my regular self. But this album is like a vibe. It's like a different, you can sit there and it's like dudes like Wayno that knew him. It'll hit you different if you knew him and knew of him and knew what he did, and you know what I mean? So it feel good for me. I feel different before I started out making it, and after it's finished, it's like, you know, I feel completed. I feel like I accomplished what I set out to do. So happy with that.
That's another question I had, because like one of the last conversations I had with Pick was him teaching me more about some business stuff. And I wanted to know, like, you know, when he did come along to work with you solely, was that something that he instilled in you, like just the business side, like sharpening you up?
Definitely. When he came on board, you know, with my team, and we started doing So Raspy and the website and, you know, making my albums or whatever, he just was always adamant about me learning the business more, just learning other things. Like, that's what he brought to the table for me and my team, like just what was going on, or, you know, this is going on in the business, this the way the business is shifting. This is what's, you know what I mean? He always was able to bring that intel and energy to the table, and it was always something we needed and something that we missing, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of artists don't get lucky enough to build such a strong team, you know, with people who turn into actually family. And I remember sometime last year you said that young artists shouldn't even really go out looking for managers, for example, that the good ones will find you.
That got me in trouble a little bit at Rock Nation for that tweet. But yeah, that wasn't even set out for Rock Nation. Something happened with me and my previous manager that I was mad about. So, you know what I mean, that was like a Kanye or a Wale moment.
I don't think it was that extreme.
Yeah, not that extreme. I mean, for me to even just go on Twitter is extreme, like doing them kind of things. But yeah, on the same note though, you know, you need a good staff in your corner that is bigger than just creating the music or whatever the hype is around you or the trendiness. You need a good lawyer, you need some good people with you that's for the cause of the brand, and not just yes men and people that not afraid to tell you that ain't right or you doing this wrong, or pump your brakes for a minute and, you know, put your money over here and don't hold off on that Rollie or that Bentley, or, you know what I mean, let's do this business deal over there. Eventually you're gonna have to start getting that. When I first got money, I spent it recklessly. But as you know, gradually you're gonna have to start turning into something else than just blowing your money on watches and private jets and cars and just a bunch of stuff that devalue after you buy it. So it's about learning, and the only way to learn is to have good surrounding around, all by messing up.
A couple mistakes always teach you some things.
Definitely.
So you do believe that a new artist should have, like, you know, a good manager, right? It's just about
good manager, you need a good supporting cast. You need good parents. Somebody, you're gonna have to have something in your corner that's going, you know.
Yeah, because we've seen like for example, like Russ gave advice to like young artists to say, hey, listen, yo, if y'all have like a lawyer that y'all just give 5% to for everything, that's not the wave. Like, unless they bring something to the table, you should just pay them hourly. Which to a lot of artists and a lot of how people approach the game, that's a very different approach. You know, like rather than giving somebody percentage of your equity, you're giving them an hourly breakdown for what they do.
That probably works for Russ. He probably got a good staff. He probably got some people with him that said, let's retain our lawyer like this, opposed to, you know what I mean? Because when you're young, you don't know about that. You could call your lawyer and then end up being a $7,500 call. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I mean? Just off not knowing about how this game works. So, you know, I salute Russ for even being aware of that type of thing at this stage of his career, because some artists not even thinking about anything, and so much is going on in their life that that's not something that'll, you know what I mean, even on their radar too late to the business manager come and show them, you see how much you've been spending on lawyer and not just going to visit them and talk to them for hours, you spending this.
All right.
So, I mean, that's another thing about having a good staff around you, somebody that will bring that to your attention instead of just letting years go by of that. And then, did you know over the years we spent such and such going to the lawyer, or you calling your lawyer, or just going up there asking them stuff, and they're charging you for this? Did you know that? You know what I mean? A lot of times you don't know if you got nobody to tell you. Yeah. Or nobody, and this is a business where they don't want you to know a lot of stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean? They'd rather you just be talented and dumb as a brick, and you know what I mean, that works for them and not for you, and that's what keeps the game going.
Have you fallen into, like, we had Walk up here recently, and even with Russ, even though like he's definitely
shout out to Russ too,
right?
man. Russ about to work. Russ DM'd me, and me and Russ just connected, so. You know what I mean?
That's gonna sound interesting.
Yeah,
I want to hear that.
You gotta try to make it work. You know what I mean?
But like even Waka was like, yo, for a lot of young artists, and you know, he made mistakes just like you probably made mistakes. Like,
definitely.
You know, he wants to like embrace the younger generation coming up and impart some game and shit. All the mistakes you make, you could probably give them advice on like, hey, I did this wrong, don't do this. Do you feel like it's kind of your responsibility to kind of mentor or kind of pass the game along, that people or artists don't make the same mistakes you did? Because, you know, like even now we see like a lot of artists, they complain about their label, their deals, this and third. And as we sit here, me and Wayno debated, we're like, man, this been happening for like 20 years. Like, what's going on? Like, if this happened 20 years ago, at some point the education should get passed down where we're not repeating the same cycle.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're absolutely right. This is a game, all games that the elder statesmen embrace or, you know, encounter the newer dudes coming in, you should give them some game of the do's and don'ts and what to look forward to on their journey in the, you know, down the line or in the future. But a lot of times you have dudes obtain some quick success or some money, and then they feel like they don't need none of that game. Right. They feel like there's nothing you could tell them until down the line when it comes back around and bite them in the ass. So, you know what I mean? There are some dudes that want to sit around and pick your brain and find out, you know, the do's and don'ts, and then there's some that feel like just because they got some quick success or they doing all right, they know as much as you, or they don't need to ask you shit. Right. You know what I mean? So.
You've seen the industry change behind the scenes, even business, over the past couple decades, right? So we see a lot of artists, as recently as Game telling artists don't sign these slave deals, or artists telling people they should be independent when some of them are actually still signed to majors. So just with all you've seen over the years, like, what advice would you give to a young artist? Would you immediately tell them to go indie, or does it go back to what you said, first finding a good team that helps you make the right decisions for you?
Of course, that goes back into play, but you got to find out what works for you. You know, some dudes is infatuated and just think the independent route can work, but it's actually more work. You know what I mean? You got to work double time. You got to spend your own money in certain cases. You got to do some things that you wouldn't necessarily have to do being on a major. And Like me personally, I like the major. Styles likes independent. Lucha go with both. Like sometimes he do major, so that's just the luxury of having a 3-man group. We're able to do it all, but I would say, yeah, for new artists, you gotta learn it. You gotta learn what you about to get in bed with, or what you about to marry, you know, make a marriage to, or what you're about to sign your life away to. You should try to, as much as you want to be the best MC or the best producer, you should want to learn the business that much also, because it's going to be valleys and peaks, and it's going to be, you're going to run, and this is a game on business where something always goes wrong. So, you know, sometimes you could get discouraged being a young artist, or your skin can get thicker and tougher, and you can start learning and navigating your way through. So, but the most part is to try to learn it before the initial jump ball. Try to get as much knowledge as you can about the game, you know what I mean, before diving in.
All right, I got my my Jadakiss questions I always wanted to ask Jadakiss.
I've been waiting.
I've been waiting.
Get it on, bro.
I've been waiting. But so I seen you talking recently with Rob, Markman, about like, the Reservoir Dogs and like Styles, like y'all, everybody taking like subtle shots that people don't know. I want to know
that
like
was
when
out of old game, old industry used to work like that.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I want to know like what Blackout, DMX album, you, Styles, I think it's Sheik on it too.
Me, Styles, Sheik,
and
X
Jay.
and Hove.
Yeah, I want to know how that record went, because I never seen anybody tell a story about that one.
Nah, that wasn't really. That's a good question. When we did Blackout, Rough Riders was on the. It was already, we was where we wanted to be in a sense. Like, thing we was working on, because at that time we used to work on a couple albums at a time. Like if X budget was open and things was moving, we were able to work on the Locks album off of X's budget. Or however it went, we always it could be the Locks budget, drag on and be able to get to come in and, we'd always get a 2-for-1 out of whoever's budget we was working on. But I remember that time it was X, we was working on X project and we was going to Cali to do it. So I think the first day we got in LA and we went to the studio, that was the first song that we did. And it was just me, Styles, Luch, X didn't lay his verse yet, and Hove didn't record his verse yet. And I remember they got Hove was going on overseas on tour. He was actually sick. You can hear him. He had like a cold if you hear his verse. And that was just like the camp. That was just working. It was no real. It wasn't no like. Nobody had the silencer screwed on and shoot at nobody, because it initially was just me, Styles, X, and Luch.
Yeah.
And then they added Hove onto that record. But that was, for me, that record was big because I got a quotable. You know what I mean? I got a hip hop quotable, which at that time was the thing to get. And especially to be on the song with X, Locks.
Yeah, I think Jay got verse of the year for that.
Yeah.
In the Source.
You know what I mean?
And my other question I had was, what's your favorite freestyle that you ever did? Cause I got one. I want to know what your favorite freestyle that you ever did was, like a radio joint. I know it's early for you to think that.
I don't know.
Now my favorite shit is it ain't hard to tell shit. Doug should have warned you.
I was gonna say that too.
Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I kind of knew. I kind of thought that's where you was going with it. But yeah, shout out to Super Mario. That was times when that's where the game was at. Mostly, for the most part, and we had time to gear up to go up there. Like even now we're promoting this album, everybody wants you to freestyle. And it ain't a problem, but this is a different type of project that I wanna, if you wanna, I don't mind freestyling if you able to give Pick the proper light that he's supposed to get for the project, cause it's not, I lost my man from colon cancer and this is a project dedicated to him, so if you could shed some light on there. So that's what I'm going through with now. But even with the freestyling, I'm so meticulous about it that I would never just mess up my legacy with it. You know what I mean? I gotta sit there, I gotta write it, or I would have to come back, or I wouldn't just go up there and say anything or just start rhyming about your champion hoodie or action. You know what I mean? Some dudes just do it. I take it very serious.
Why 5 years in between a project? Is it that you only record out of inspiration, or like you like spacing your stuff out? Because we had Yo Gotti up here, and I think it was between 3 years between his, and he was like, yo, honestly, in this climate, like 3 years is like a stretch. That's almost like over the limit. Like everyone, if you want to remain in the mix,
with the way music is now, you gotta come
2 years or one month.
You gotta come several times a year now. The way they made it, you gotta keep shooting. The way the climate and the structure of the game is now. But with me, if you followed me, all my projects came spaced out because I used to try to not go through something, but if I released, from Friday on Elm Street to Ignatius, I had a daughter, I lost pick, all kind of stuff went on in my life that you won't see on the gram or hear about on Twitter. So I try to incorporate some of that and give it to my fans and make the project organic, or, make it a life lesson, some type of thing like that, instead of just talking about foreigns and watches and just whipping up a bunch of bullshit to talk about. I try to, of course, do some art, creative bullshit, but along with some real life of what happened to me from the last time I released a project. A lot of what I'm telling you is not just song fillers, is what really happened to me from the last time I released a project. And that's what the way I tried to keep it. But now you gotta, like Ignatius is coming out or is out now. I gotta come right back. When the weather breaks again, you can expect another one. That's just the way the climate of the game is. So before you can do that, Nas used to do that, have a nice period in between projects, and it always was impactful. But the way it is now, you gotta be doing something, albums, podcasts, something. You better be doing something, or, the attention span is shorter now. So, you gotta keep it coming, or get swept under the rug.
I want to know how you felt about your overall impact of the game, because listening to G Herbo last album, he sampled the same things.
I was supposed to be on that song.
For real?
Yeah, he called. I'm mad that I missed it, because Herb is my dog. You know what I mean? I mess with G Herbo, his brother. He's one of the young dudes that I think is gonna have a promising career, because he listens, he absorbs, he want to learn, he's a student of the game, and that helps with your craft. But I think you gotta go through something.
The content is what lives forever, and we've been having this conversation up here about what is whack music, however you describe that. So you've mentioned that you like people like Russ, obviously Herbo, Corday, the people who really care about the content in their music, but we see some people complain like they feel like this is the worst quality hip hop we've ever had. Do you think that's true? Is the music getting better? Is it worse? Is it the same as it's always been? A lot of great talent and a lot of mediocre?
No, it's not the same. The music is not the same, and it's never gonna be the same. Just the way the haircuts ain't gonna be the same. The gear, the fashion is gonna change. It's a Ferris wheel. Can you stay on the Ferris wheel? Can you be here when it gets all the way back around? You know what I mean? So that's always been the challenge for me. That's always been something. That's how we look at the game. Of course, it's always going to change. You know what I mean? But you got to change with it. That's what when it's like Bron right now in the league. The game, the speed is changing, and Houston took their center off, and the biggest guy in Houston is 6'7". That's not traditional NBA basketball, but it's working. No, would Kareem and them do that? No, but it ain't Kareem and them times changing. So you got to gotta change with it.
But do we forget like if we using basketball analogies, do we forget the mid-range jumper and how much that helped us? Like when it comes to comparing that to
we
music,
still,
like,
I mean, you know, Houston is using the jump shot. They took away rebounding and post playing with all threes and mid-range.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? It's not your traditional, like, some of the sound sonically of music is not your traditional sound of hip-hop, but is what's going on.
so it's still hip-hop.
But you look at it and call it
still
whack?
hip-hop.
You ever look at it and be like, man, that's some whack shit, man. Like,
In today's music, you could say something is horrible, and then you could listen to it on the treadmill or the stair climber and be like, this is actually not that bad. You know what I'm saying? So I'm one of them. Some of the stuff sound like noise, or some of it is sonically not my cup of tea, but
has that
also
always
some of it, if
existed?
you listen to it, it's not that bad. It's not, you know, you can't just be that old grumpy man and not give it a listen. You gotta know what's going on out here. And I thank my son, Jay for bringing that to the table as, you know what I mean, my A&R, my young whippersnapper that's coming back to the camp. Like, this is what's going on out there, Dad. This is the sound, this is what they're wearing, this is what they're saying, this and some of it I put a wall up to it, but a lot of it I incorporated, you know what I mean, and with what I do. So.
Jay rapping now too, ain't
he? Yeah, he's flirting around with the booth.
Yeah.
I want, at least with the contemporary artists, and I know you probably don't look at everything, and probably the people who you like G Herbo, you really like. I wonder who your top 5 is of like now that you think are doing it that is your cup of tea.
For now, you mean? Cause
No.
The question it can be always. It's like a
Not of all time.
Like
We'll be here all day.
Yeah, nah. Right now, it would have to be like Drake, Meek. There's so many.
Kendrick?
They kind of like grandfather. Kendrick is kind of up here somewhere. You know what I mean? He's like the hood hero, lyricist, not compromising his style. TDE, period. I mess with TDE, just the way they run their whole, you know what I mean? The way TDE is ran, I love it.
You feel like the grandfather out of like.
No, Kendrick is that dude. He's looking for something to do. It's like you know what I mean? He did everything. Touring, sales.
Grammys, yeah.
Yeah. So then you gotta, right now, he's fueling up to come back, but it's always it's just not a regular comeback. He gotta be a moment. So
I've heard you mention Thug before, like you have admiration for, you know.
Thug is dope. Thug is super dope. And you gotta weed out some of the stuff, you know what I mean? He might not have an outfit on that something you might wear, but listen to the music, it's good music. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sonically, it's good. He's saying stuff that I can relate to. It's good music. And you won't think Kiss listen to Thug, but it's the music, it's art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I say a lot of times, like, when people think of thugs, like Little Babies or Gunners, a lot of shit that they say is the same shit we be talking about, like, from artists from up here, but they just say it
in their way, yeah. You gotta give it a listen. You know what I mean? We so quick to be judgmental, but it's only hip hop. That's why I don't like. They only break us down and make us shoot at each other. There's no such thing as West Coast pop or down south R&B. They only do that with rap to make, to diminish our culture. So we gotta always be mindful of that. It's competitive, yes. It's artists from different demographics, yes, but we still under the same umbrella. We still represent the same thing, so.
I like what you said about, like, Kendrick, like, he done everything, but I think of you as that as well. It's like, okay, you've had #1 albums, you know what I mean? You've done damn near every award show.
I think they ain't gonna really give me my just due till I ain't here no more. And it's messed up, but this is a business where that happens a lot.
Why though?
You know what I mean? I don't know why. I can't. If I can answer that, I put a book out in.
I mean, some people get it while they're here. I feel like Wayne has been getting it. You know, like I feel like certain artists, they've been getting it. I mean,
no, some is gonna get it while they're here. Some ain't. That's just how it goes.
Well, I was gonna say what I wanted to ask you was like, beyond making this album in the memory of Pick, what motivates Kiss? It's like
I love music. I love hearing it. I love making it. I love listening to it. I love when I listen to something and it makes me want to go to the studio immediately after hearing it. So, once I don't feel like that no more, then I won't do it no more. But I could still pop on something or hear something and it make me call Poobs or Days who like, yo, meet me at the lab. I gotta lay something. I got something to get off my chest. So when long as I still feel like that, you know what I mean, I'm gonna keep making music.
With some of the just some of the shit that's on Ignatius that like, all right, we got the General Pusher. Of course, I got a chance to hear it last year because of Buddha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But with some of the records that's on here, like you said, that Pick wanted you to do that we wouldn't have had expected.
Besides the Push feature, because he was always talking to me in my ear every day about that.
Yeah.
John Legend. We always wanted a John Legend song. Well, he always wanted me to work with John Legend. 2 Chainz. He loved 2 Chainz' voice. He loved his country accent and how he puts his, he made Pick smile a lot listening to, what's your nigga Wood, like a kitchen cat. He just loved Chainz, so I made that happen. Dej Loaf, he was a big fan of Dej. Sonically, she just had something that he loved about her. Ty Dolla $ign. Got some production from these guys from Norway, the Pitch Shifters. Pick was working with them along with this female named Chase. I think she was Bondo's artist. Him and Bondo was working with her. I just try to do everything that he always asked me to do. You know what I mean? Even to the cover art, me and I'm real painting. He had just started getting me learning about art and bringing me to a couple Swiss events and, you know what I mean, just slowly teaching me about art so I could start investing in that. Just stuff like that, you know what I mean? And this project really was made because I was one of the last people to find out about him having colon cancer. He made Steve-O and everybody with him and Royce and all of them not tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of anger in here. Like even, I got a song on the album called Keep It 100 with me where I'm talking about, me and my wife getting out of the hood and also an incident that happened with an ex-friend of mine, in the hustling game. But it's also the Pick, like, should have kept it one, you know what I mean? You ain't tell, we went from speaking every morning about conquering the world to you spinning me with this whole thing and then I'm finding out last. So, you know what I mean? Keep It 100 with me is like a double meaning for the meaning of the song, and Pick should have kept it 100 with me. So, I feel like when I see him in the afterlife, we gotta have 5 minutes. we gotta scrap for we gotta shoot the fair one in heaven. But that's all. I just try to make it in his name and in his light so I could move on, because it hit me. It hit me different being that, I went from sharing so much with him for the 10, 12 years to trying to figure out where he was at, or could I go see him in Harlem, or, you know what I mean? He had the spin on me of all spins, like, I'm coming down there, and then he just make up something, or, nah, don't worry, I gotta go see my daughter, you know what I mean? Till it didn't really hit me.
Did he just want to protect you from it?
Yeah, he knew it would hurt me more than a regular person, so he, even in his trials and tribulations of fighting through all that pain, he still was worried about my pain. That shows what kind of person he was, because he was in much more pain than me.
Yeah.
And he still was protecting me from, finding out. So I owed him that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we and a lot of people don't know how like health conscious you, Styles, everybody else with the juicing and all of that. I was talking about one day how, with all the information that y'all provide with juicing and how it helps, people still don't take it like as serious. I always wonder why,
We don't go to the doctor enough. You know what I mean? Blacks and Latinos, we don't go get checked up enough. And, it's usually just something hurts or you feel a lump or things like that, then it makes you go in for a visit. But we got to get more annual checkups. And he was healthy as a ox. Yeah. He played ball every weekend. He used to juice watercress before he'd go play ball. He could ride his mountain bike to Brooklyn. But I think it was an inheritance thing. So, some things are inevitable when the man upstairs called for you as your time. But yeah, we got the juice bars, Juices for Life, 4 of them, 1 in Brooklyn, 2 in the Bronx, 1 in Yonkers. And we just try and bring health awareness to people so we can prevent things like that.
Right.
And that all ties into itself with the album and what we trying to promote, health awareness. So, that was another reason I thought I had to do this project for him.
Well, he's somewhere listening. He's going to be enjoying that 2 Chainz.
Yeah, he's smiling down. He's looking down saying, yo, I can't wait till Friday, B.
That guy you talk to.
One of the things, me and Wayno, we be having like these conversations about like a lot of these contemporary topics, but I really want to know your opinion on this, because like Meek had said this. Meek was like, a lot of these new artists, they're really, like, they have like this apprehension to sign to a black executive, but they'll go to someone else and they'll like sign away all their rights and this and third. And, like they never look at the people who look like them as having their best interests in mind. And of course, whether it was Diddy or whatever, like you have been signed to black executives. How does that even statement resonate with you? Like it
don't matter if you sign to a black executive or a white executive. You gotta learn about the executive, period. You gotta learn what you signing. You gotta learn the game. You know what I mean? They're gonna flash some money in your face. They're gonna make it seem like it's beneficial for your behalf, and it's not gonna be. So you gotta, you don't get what you ask for, you get what you negotiate. And you either gonna learn it up front or you gonna learn it the hard way. You know what I mean? So, of course you would want to be with somebody who's in your best interest, but sometimes the person that look like you might not be for you. Sometimes the person that don't look like you might be for you. So, if you don't got it up here and know what's on that paper, that's on you, or your staff, or your family, your mother, your mentors, you know what I mean? Whoever it is, you gotta understand that it's bigger than music and cars and videos and things like that. So,
Paul Rosenberg.
you're gonna be forced to learn if you don't know, you know what I mean? Initially, if you don't learn initially, you're gonna have to learn, because you're gonna find out somewhere that you're getting, jerked around somewhere something is going.
You learn the harder way.
Yeah, you learn the harder way when you take time, when you don't attack it early. So that's one of the things, me and my brothers, we was fortunate we knew something wasn't right early, and we attacked it and got on it, and you know what I mean? And we was fortunate to catch it early. But a lot of dudes, there's so much smoke and mirrors and so much going on, they don't catch it to 10, 15 years down the line, and that might be.
Are you surprised when you see like Bass on the gram basically saying, yo, Diddy, give me my shit back in terms of like publishing or whatever?
Actually, I was, because I thought that might have been already worked out. But I just don't like to see that stuff go public like that. You know what I mean? I think at this point in both of their careers, I think they could sit down and iron it out.
You dealt with it publicly though, at one point.
Yeah, I was a kid. We was young. It if we was to reverse and go back, we wouldn't go on Angie Martinez right now and throw the refrigerator or, you know what I mean?
Classic.
We wouldn't do one. That worked for us at the time, but, you know, after growing and becoming businessmen and business owners and things like that, we probably would have worked it out differently. And I think Mase is cool enough with Diddy to go to his crib or go to a restaurant and sit down and work it out. But he might have tried that and it didn't work. You never know with this business, you know what I mean? Sometimes hit and send is your only last resort with this, to get your message out there on a broad, you know what I mean, on a broader scale for cheaper, for, you know what I mean? Sometimes that ain't the way I would do it, but sometimes that's the, you know what I mean? We don't know if Mase tried to call him, we don't know. But I think, me from knowing Diddy from the years I know him, like, I think now is you can talk to him. He's still a paperwork gangster, but you can talk to him and work it out. You know what I mean?
Any regrets in as far as your musical career and things you wish you had did, or maybe things you wish you didn't do?
No, I'm really cool with it. I'm cool with.
You accept it all?
I'm cool with if the lights was to turn out today. I'm cool. And even though financially I'm good, my kids will always be good. It's just the people that I've looked up to and that I've able to come across and meet, and what they told me, how they feel about, you know what I mean, my work. So I'm good with that, from the Bigs, Nas's, Hoves, Eminems. Anybody that I ever looked up to or, you know, had that mutual respect for as a colleague and an artist, they seem to have it back. So, you know, I'm content with that. We came in the game just at first wanting to rhyme for Big, wanting to write rhymes and that we wanted Big to hit. You know what I mean? So from going from that stage to actually being on the same record label with him and making songs and him embracing us, that was like one milestone. And then, you know, as the years went, more came and you talk to more people and they respect your craft, people that you always looked up to, and I mean, I'm good with that.
Yeah, you've accomplished so much. I know we're not legends, but we would also like to give you your flowers. We appreciate you and everything you've done for the game, man. Jadakiss, thanks for waking up so early and coming today. Go check out his new album, Ignatius. That's out this Friday.
You care about sales at all? Just real quick, my bad. You care about sales at all? Like, you know, you're such a veteran. Do you ever look at that?
Everybody care about sales. They say they don't, they lying. Well, I don't. I mean, you do, because you got to sell something to keep the thing going. But this particular project ain't about sales for me. It's about, you know, my man.
Don't seem like it.
Yeah, you know, it ain't. It's more about his kids and his legacy. And he was a dude that never wanted to be on camera or get taken a picture. He never wanted to be in. He always wanted to be behind the scenes. But he went hard behind the scenes. So, you know what I mean? This is what this project is about. I'm able to give his kids a nice portion of whatever it is. That's a completion of my task. You know what I mean? Then the next album, I get back to caring about sales again. I still don't care about sales.
Respectful.
It's a beautiful tribute. Rest in peace. Check out Ignatius on Friday. See you guys tomorrow on Everyday Struggle.